I'm going to tell you in this video why I turned down 90% of potential leads. You see, those two fishermen that stood at a river. The first fisherman cast a massive net. You see, every fish, big, small, they all flooded in. And he spent his entire day sorting. He was throwing back the small ones, he was untangling trash, and was fighting to keep the few that were worth keeping. By sunset, the first fisherman was exhausted. He had 3 really good fish and a pile of problems. The second fisherman used a single line, expensive bait, and 1 hook. He sat peacefully and he ignored the small fishermen not nibbling. He just waited. And when the line finally pulled, it was heavy, 1 cast, 1 magnificent fish. And he went home at noon. You see, the first fisherman was still sorting through trash and he shouted, "You're wasting the day, cast more, catch more." The second fisherman smiled. "I'm not trying to catch everything. I'm just trying to catch enough." And that's why last month I turned down $47,000 in potential contracts. And it's the smartest thing I've done all year. You see, at the moment, I'm doing a challenge, a public challenge on YouTube, where I'm going to be signing $20,000 a month worth of new recurring revenue from a brand new pipeline in the next 90 days. Now, to pull it off, I only need 6 clients to hit my goal. Not 60, not 20, 6. So why would anyone try and close every lead that breathes? Why would I take every call that someone has just because I've got a pulse? And why would I negotiate with people who can barely afford my services? You see, after 10 years running Expand Digital and nearly $8 million in total revenue, I've learned something totally counterintuitive. The fastest way to scale isn't to say yes to everyone. It's to say no to almost everyone. I turned down 90% of leads, and I'm doing this in my challenge publicly to prove a point. You don't need volume, you need value. And in today's video, I'm going to show you the client scoring system that I use to disqualify leads in 30 seconds. I'm going to show you why every bad lead costs you 2 good ones, and the psychological principle that makes scarcity more profitable than availability. You see, let me show you the math. The first option is the cast a wide net strategy, which the fisherman was using. Well, let's take it through an agency example. Let's say you have 100 high quality leads every month. Let's say you close 20% of those leads, and every client is worth $1,000. This is how my agency used to operate, by the way. That would generate $20,000 of monthly recurring revenue, right? But here's the actual problems with this approach. What you'll end up with is 20 clients that need service, 20 clients have questions, 20 clients that want meetings. 5 of those clients are always going to be unhappy. 3 are always going to be paying late, and 2 are always going to be considering leaving. See, you're going to be drowning. This creates issues. This damages your reputation. And this means you spend more time communicating on basic issues than building a business and delivering results. The second option, which is how I run my business now, is called the 1 client strategy. So with the 1 client strategy, if you get 100 leads per month, you're going to turn down 90% of these, but you're going to close 50% of the remaining 10. And those additional clients are going to pay you more. So on average, you'll get about $4,000 a month. Now, from this, onboarding 5 clients a month is manageable. You have 5 clients that get a premium service. You have 5 clients that become raving fans. You have 5 clients that refer others just like them. And you have 5 clients that never leave. I've had clients with me for 8 years. 8 years. And it took me a long time to realize that I did this principle in order to get them. You see, on both sides, you'll end up with the same revenue, but you'll have a completely different life running your business. I'm sure you didn't start an agency to work 80 hours a week and to spend all your time babysitting people with problems. Because here's what no one tells you about understanding and being selective. You see, there's research from Harvard Business School, and they call it the toxic client syndrome. That is that bad clients don't just pay less, they're actually costing you good clients. Here's how this actually plays out. There's what I call the time vampire effect. And that is that bad clients will consume 3 times more time than good clients. And that's not just opinion, I've tracked it. You see, a good client will take about 2 hours per month between emails, reporting, and maybe a couple of conversations. A bad client will take 6 or more hours per month. The really bad guys can take that per week. And let's just assume it's on a monthly basis. That 4 extra hours you're spending managing their emotions, managing their demands, managing their requests, you could have spent the time finding another good client. There's also what I call the energy drain. And that is something that I learned from a Stanford researcher that found that negative interactions, for every negative interaction, it requires 5 positive reactions to overcome from it psychologically. That is, one bad client can ruin your energy for an entire day of sales. I've had a real example last year. I had a client that was paying me $1,500 a month, and they were constantly complaining. They were constantly wanting more. They were constantly saying, oh, I shouldn't have done this. I should have fixed this before we started working with you. Maybe you should find someone else. They were constantly threatening to leave, and they were questioning everything. I would get 15 to 20 emails per week from this client. Needless to say, I fired them. And that same week, once I got all of that mental strain off my brain, I had enough mental space to close a replacement client that paid me twice as much. Now, this new client just said, do your thing, I trust you. So the bad client wasn't just paying less, taking up more time. They were actually preventing me from finding good clients. After $8 million in revenue and over 10 years in this business, I've developed a system. You see, every lead gets scored in the first 30 seconds of our call. And this is done by transcript and I'll review it later. So here's the 5-point instant qualification system that I use. The first question is the budget. And I will say, we typically work with companies investing $3,000 to $5,000 per month in growth. Is that within your range? If they say too much, they get 0 points. If they say that's right, they get 1 point. And if they say, that's fine, if it works, they get 2 points. The second question I ask is about urgency. When are you looking to implement this? If they say they're just exploring, again a 0, the 1 point answer is in the next few months, and the 2 point answer is as soon as possible. I then ask the decision question. Who else needs to be involved in this decision? If they say lots of people, if they say one other person, it's 1 point. If they say it's my call, I make the decisions, it's 2 points. Are you looking for a done-for-you solution, or do you want to be involved? If they say I want to be involved, they get a 0 point. If they say they want some involvement, it's 1. And if they say, hey, I want you to handle it, I trust you, that's 2 points. Now, the commitment question is, if this works, are you looking for a long-term partnership? If they say, let's just start month to month, yeah, 0. If they say they're open to longer terms, they'll get 1 point. And if they say we want to find someone to partner with long-term, they get 2 points. Now, what do these points mean? Well, if they get 0 to 4 points in total, we're not going to be a good fit. And what I'll say is, hey, I think that wouldn't be a good fit. Here's who might be. I'll recommend them to someone else. If they get 5 to 7 points, I'll say, hey, let's discuss further, but, whatever the objection is. I'll usually quote a little higher for these guys because I know that if they come on board, it'll probably be a shorter relationship and they'll be more difficult to manage. Now, if they get 8 to 10 points, we just continue on with the sales process. Because at that point, I know that these guys have the core elements to make a good client. So the point that you really need to understand here, guys, is that one great client is worth more than 10 mediocre ones. You see, when I did the math and reviewed the transaction records, I've had one client that's paid me over $250,000 because they've been a great client. And they've also referred more work to me. And they're also my most profitable client by percentage. Not because I do the most work for them, but because they're the right business. So if you haven't read Influence by Robert Cialdini, I highly recommend this book. In the book, Robert mentioned something. He said scarcity is one of 6 principles of persuasion. And when something is less available, more people want it. But here's the plot twist. It only works if the scarcity is real. So when I say I only work with select clients, I mean it. When I say I don't have room for you until next quarter, that's true. It's not a tactic, it's a business model. And something really magical happens when you're genuinely selective. And that's what's called the velvet rope effect. You see, researchers at Columbia University studied nightclub psychology, and that is clubs with the longest lines and the strictest door policies could charge the highest prices. Why? Because rejection creates desire. And when I tell someone they're not a good fit, here's what often happens. They say, wait, why not? Or if they've read all my testimonials, they say, what do I need to do to qualify? Or can you make an exemption? Now, I turned down a roofing company a couple months ago that had a score of 4, and because they wanted to negotiate everything. He called me back a week later and said, if I paid you full price and committed to a year, would you take me on for this solution? Suddenly his score changed. And by me telling him he wasn't a good fit, he went and checked out the marketplace and realized, damn, this guy's good at what he does. So here's the real secret that you gotta know about being selective, guys. When you only work with ideal clients, something beautiful happens, and it's called the quality spiral. You see, better clients pay you more. Better clients refer better clients to you. The quality referrals you get is determined by the type of businesses referring it. If you are only working with $500 a month clients that are starting their business and have no money, guess who they're going to hang out with? They're going to hang out at the bar with people in the same situation. If you're working with multi-million-dollar companies who are absolutely crushing it, guess where they hang out? They hang out in masterminds with other businesses just like them. And that's who starts becoming their referral partners. I had one client, as a friend, I went and showed him some stuff. And he's like, hey, this isn't a good fit for my business, but let's jump on the phone. I want to make you a few referrals. I had 3 referrals to companies that were doing $20 million a year of sales within 20 minutes. 3 phone introductions, 3 booked meetings, because it's about the quality of the referrer. How did I make that friendship? I was a part of a $100,000 a year mastermind. So, as we said, better clients pay more, better clients refer more, better clients also leave better reviews, better clients create better case studies. So the thing is, better case studies, better reviews, and better referrals help you create and attract better clients. Again, this is a virtuous cycle and it compounds over time. But guys, here's the truth. It's called the profit paradox. More revenue does not mean more profit. In fact, I've learned this the hard way. Sometimes it means less. You see, when you scale to huge monthly revenues with lots of clients, here's what happens. You need more staff, you need more systems, you have more meetings with clients and with staff and with vendors, you have more problems and more stress. Ultimately, your overhead will eat your profits, and the complexity then eats your soul. You see, I've seen agencies doing $100,000 per month taking home less than agencies doing $40,000 per month. Why? Because the $40,000 a month agency has about 10 clients and need 1 assistant. The $100,000 a month agency had a team of 20 people in order to deliver. Because what happens is you start needing middle management. You start needing to build out a marketing team and a sales team and a delivery team and a project manager here and a middle manager here. It becomes complex. I've been there, I've done it, I adjusted my business model because I saw what was happening to my bottom line. Because the maths are brutal here, guys. More revenue usually means more overhead and small profit, which becomes a big headache and a lot of risk. Moderate revenue means a low overhead and a high profit, which generates you a peaceful life. And this is why I'm doing this challenge, is to prove you don't need massive scale. You need strategic selection. So guys, here's how I position scarcity on my sales calls. The first frame that I use is, after I've done introductions, is to say, hey, before we dive in, I should mention, I only work with a select number of clients to maintain quality. If it's a mutual fit, we can go ahead, but let's make sure it's a mutual fit first. Now, this is 100% true. And it's a really unique paradox. If you are a small AI agency and you can only work with 2 new clients a month, make that your scarcity selling point, because technically it's true. You can't take on 10 clients next month if they all came to you. So you can 100% honestly upfront say, hey, I'm only taking on 2 clients next month. That helps them go, wow, this guy must be busy. But it's also true. It sets the scarcity frame immediately. You're being a part of the chooser, not the chosen. and it positions you as the selector, not the seller. You see, it also opens you up to doing a soft rejection, which is, based on what you've shared, I don't think we're the right fit. You need more of a done with you model, and I do more of a done for you model. I'd recommend this person. They're better suited for what you need. Now, what happens half the time is, wait, they come back around. Because they've got in a sales call with you, they want to work with you. They're just unaware of the problems that are in their mind that are staying with you. And you just say, I'd love to work with you, but I'm fully booked until 2 months out. I can put you on the waiting list, but I'll have to be honest, I'm ready if spots open up early. Should I add you to the list? If not, you're like, hey, I'd love to work with you. I can start and we can kick this off in 3 weeks' time. I just can't start immediately. Again, it creates scarcity, creates urgency, and what makes them want to jump in to that waiting list spot. Now, if you do a waiting list spot, you have to take a deposit. So this approach, it creates urgency for the next spot, and it gives you the ability to justify your premium. And that is, you can then go with, the reason I charge $4,000 a month is because I only take select clients. You get a level of attention and results that's impossible at scale. You see, my clients typically see an ROI in 60 days because they get my full focus. And the scarcity justifies the premium pricing. Then you can go into the qualification reversal, which is, instead of why should you hire me, it becomes why should I take you as a client? And this becomes a very powerful persuasion technique, and it shifts the power dynamic, which actually sets up a really great relationship. So let me quickly return to our 2 fishermen. The first fisherman ultimately died from exhaustion. He caught thousands of fish in his lifetime. He made a living, but never lived a life. The second fisherman died peacefully. He caught fewer fish, but each one was magnificent. He worked less, he earned more, he enjoyed more time with his family, and he enjoyed the river. And right now, I'm seeing lots of agencies casting wide nets, and they're fighting over scraps. Most agencies are exhausted, overwhelmed, and underpaid. Guys, which one do you want to be?